This is the JJO Morning Show podcast with Johnny and D. Listen, rate, subscribe.
Trixie. Oh, yeah. Well, she's got your beer now. Yeah. Trixie. Oh, yeah. Well, she's got your beer now. Yeah. Six packs and growlers and bombers of ale. Let 'em mix 'em, match 'em, there's no room to fail. Located out on East Washington, Trixie's is the place for all your springtime fun. Trixie. Oh, yeah. Well, she's got your beer now. Trixie. Oh, yeah. She's got your beer now.
Oh, great. God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. You know, we're going to miss him.
Trixie's in the studio with our...
So dark.
It is. It's very dark. With our good friend Fred Swanson. Hello.
Hey,
welcome.
how are y'all?
Good to see you, dude. It's been a while.
It's been a couple years. It might have been pre-COVID.
I think it was.
It probably was, actually.
Yeah, if we only knew what was in store, we would have drank more.
It's a long time for tasty creations here.
I think we drank plenty during 2020.
I think we did too.
Yeah,
You're right.
I think that was my height.
All right, you peaked in 2020. All right, we do have some beers we're going to taste here, but first, Trixie, tell everybody where to get the JJO beers.
All right, you're going to want to go to the corner of East Washington, Oak Street. Look for that bright orange arrow. It points to delicious goodness inside, and we've got a mix and match door set up with one full row for the JJO mix and match that you can grab. Ask us where it is. We'll point it to you.
Yeah, and many THC drinks to choose from.
Yes, we're almost on a full door for those THC drinks now.
Heck yeah.
So, I mean, we're definitely on board with that, and I don't think it's going away. Like, you know, we always said that the seltzers were this quick little, like, sprint, you know, oh, look at this cute fad that's coming. They stayed. I really think that this is the next one to stay.
Oh, yeah, me too. You'll pry them from my cold dead hands, Trixie. All right.
So there'll always be a market.
What's our first beer here?
All right. The first one is from Saturday Beer. So Young Blood Brewing Company is known for their one-offs and unique beers that you may or may not be able to get again. They also have a sister company that underneath their umbrella called Saturday Beers. And these are supposed to be a little bit more approachable. Mm-hmm. Still high quality, but more approachable, maybe a little bit more affordable in a lot of cases. This one is the unfiltered Pilsner, and it is very unfiltered. The body in that definitely makes it feel like you might be diving into an IPA, but there isn't that hot bitterness that cuts you. It is a tasty, approachable Pilsner.
Yeah.
I love the mouthfeel of this beer, and at 5.5, you can have a few of them and enjoy.
This is right down my alley. This is a Pilsner, and as soon as I tasted it, I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
And you described that perfectly. It has that little... Because most Pilsners have that aftertaste that, like, my brother's like, I don't like them. But this one has, like, this, it's great. It has a little bit, something different to it. Mm-hmm. As more, like, because I'm a big Czech Pilsner guy. But, yeah, I could taste that. You're definitely crushable, and it's got that hint, like you just said.
There's
like
more of
maybe
that
a little
body
bit IPA.
oomph
Yes,
to it.
Exactly.
There's a creaminess that comes through immediately in that beer.
Yeah, totally. Trixie, I love this beer.
Me too.
Oh, dude.
From the brain of Tom DeFuck. It is.
I know, right?
Yeah, fantastic. There's like a dryness halfway through your tongue's journey on this.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that's what you're talking about, kind of the IPA feel that's in there, but you don't get that hot bitterness at the end. It's definitely qualifies for the Saturday line of beers.
And that was the Youngblood, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love DeFuck. He's awesome.
Dude. Mrs. DeFuck is my favorite. Okay. All right, what's next? Sorry, Trixie.
I know. You know, I just kind of zone out and go up somewhere else.
Hey, we love DeFuck. He's a good dude. You know?
I know you do.
You know?
I know. Everyone's
And
got a man crush on him.
He's styly, too, you know? All right, anyway.
He is. His shirt collection is my favorite.
Yeah.
I know. I know. But his wife is lovely, so you're right. She is, you know,
Right.
just the,
Mr. Fuck.
Oh, Jesus. All right, awesome.
Next.
Carbon 4 is dishing up more Ale Asylum remixes here. The Contorter Porter is back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, 4.8% alcohol. And, it kind of always blows my mind. Like, sometimes I still forget that porters don't necessarily have a lot of high alcohol. I think you see those darker beers and you automatically assume like, ooh, I better watch it.
Watch
like
out,
I can
Johnny
only have
Danger's
like
gonna
one of
drink it.
these. But no, porters are supposed to be really approachable. They're supposed to be really malty. This is an oldie and a goodie.
Yeah,
It's an oldie and a goodie for me.
for sure. Lance, how you feeling about that?
I dig it. I like porters, and there's actually some hint of like hickory, like am I wrong? What
Little
is that?
smokiness
Yeah,
in there.
smoky.
With the malts, and just enough hops where it doesn't get really heavy. And I think that's what I like most about it is that it doesn't get super heavy.
Yeah.
And you feel like you can keep taking a few more sips without, and it doesn't like false you out right away with that. Like, oh, could this be really high alcohol? There's just enough balance in there where the body is really approachable for me.
Fred, where are you at with this?
There's a nuttiness that I had forgotten in this beer. I love the fact that this is back. This was one of my favorites from them, and it's just one of those super approachables. It's what craft beer was in the mid '80s.
Yeah.
This was the
Yeah.
one everybody had in their house. So
Yeah.
kudos, K4.
I'm so glad they brought this one back. This was definitely one from the Ale Asylum lineup that I was missing for sure. Just because I know Danger's into those super high-powered stouts, but I tend to gravitate towards the porters more, and I think it's because it's the lower ABV, it's more approachable just all around. But yeah, K4 just killing it. The label on that too. I mean, as soon as I pulled it out of the 6-pack, this freaking
It's got a tattoo look to it.
That was their ethos. Everything that they did in graphics had to stand alone also as a tattoo. So that was how they started their entire thing. So you're on the point completely.
There you go. Success.
I can also tell that Carbon 4 has taken the logos and just added their own little personal twist
Right.
to them. So they are moderated a little bit. So when I say remix, kind of in my head, it's like they're taking the original and they're acknowledging that a new person is brewing it,
Yeah,
which
totally.
is also kind of nice. They didn't take away the
pay
old school
homage.
essence that we want from it,
Yep.
but they tweaked it just enough to make it theirs.
Yeah. There's always this sentimental thing that happens when I have one of the K4 Ale Asylum beers. Yeah. Where I'm just
Yes.
like memories of being out on the patio out there and
Drinking stuff with her name on, or her face on it. I think we got some in the fridge here.
so another home run from the K4 folks.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to do another beer?
Sure.
We can do a threefer.
Oh,
Let's do
man.
it. What do we got? Calm down over there. You'll be fine. What's the third one?
All right, the third one, we got to do a Valentine's Day one. Vintage Brewing Company, The Box. This is a great time of year for Box. This is the Box Chocolate Doppelbock. This is great.
Yeah.
Can you have like 3 of them? No, it'll probably be a little rich for you because there is like a milk chocolate feel to this.
Dessert beer.
There's a lactose quality to here that smooths out the body. It definitely has that Bach base to it. But
with a berry.
with that said, with that Bach base being evident, there is a lot more chocolate smoothness to this than you may anticipate. It is delicious.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
It's a dessert beer without being too sweet.
Dude.
Wait till you get the aftertaste and you start tasting the little bits of fruit you just gave me.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's good together.
Fantastic.
That's solid with a blackberry.
I bet the blackberry is
Super
great.
good.
That's a freaking dessert for sure.
I love vintage. Take a look.
Oh, yay! The T-shirt. Good timing on that.
Man, you've been wearing all the sponsors this week.
Yeah, what?
Good work out of you. You're like, I busted into my free T-shirt.
It's
Workman's
worth
relief
giving Lance
on.
a free T-shirt. He's advertising you.
Yeah, I'm out everywhere.
Lance is your guy. Oh,
I
that's
love it.
fantastic.
You are the perfect guy to give a
Yeah.
T-shirt to. Seriously.
I got the Wonder Bread. I'm like, Ricky Bobby out there running around.
And this is seasonal obs, right?
It's obvious. Yeah, it's seasonal. But I look forward to this one. I usually have at least one of these every year. I look forward to this one coming out.
This
I
is
don't know
good.
that I've ever had it before. It's very decadent.
I think you and I had this with ice cream before.
Oh.
And I'm not.
This would
gonna-
make a great float.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to say, but I really haven't had anything from vintage I didn't like. I haven't.
You're right.
When they're bringing back that Doppelbock that has that Madison historical note to it. Capital leaned in hard on those lagers, those big ABV, high ABV lagers, and vintage is continuing down that path, as is Capital. So kudos.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Not because I love Trent and Brittany, but seriously, there's nothing. I love all that.
You know what though? It makes the beer better when you know that the owners are great people, and they are great people.
I love them so much.
They're great people, and not only are they great people, they make a great product. They treat their employees really great.
They are.
They've been around forever.
Sweetheart of human beings.
Fantastic.
Trent listens too, so that helps.
Love that dude.
I know. It's like, all right, dude. You're okay. You're okay.
It's all right.
People, relax.
What a complete waste
We are killing it online. Have you guys checked the comments?
of cyberspace.
Smoke That Skin Wagon says, you guys are killing it.
The JJO Morning Show Podcast.
We're internet sensations.
Johnny and D, nowhere but JJO.
All right, here we are. Lance is in for big old John Dinger,
Mm-hmm.
who's stuck on a boat in a cruise. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. And we have Trixie from Trixie's Liquor, and then Fred Swanson from Dancing Goat. Welcome, everybody.
Hey.
This is when it gets hairy.
Oh, yeah.
What are we drinking here?
Oh, we're drinking so many goodies. So many goodies.
What are we starting with?
I'm excited about.
Holy smokes.
Yeah,
I think Fred should go over the new stuff that just came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is the brandy old-fashioned slushy
Yes.
from Aftershock.
The brandy old-fashioned slushy from
dude.
Aftershock has a new brandy in it, and it's the Burns brandy.
Barons?
Barron's brandy that just came out. It's strong.
Charlie,
It's
yeah,
meant to be
dude.
strong. So, okay, at the Aftershock arcade, we got a slushy machine. One is for the kids, and one is for us.
This is
Nice.
this is
So
on
the
tap.
brandy old-fashioned slushy is one of the most popular things we serve there.
Not only
bet.
For a good reason, you
A,
know.
does this taste like candy?
It is stronger than it
It's
tastes.
got a right hook.
But it is what you want, a brandy. If you want a brandy slushy, brandy old-fashioned slushy, this is the kind that you want.
super good.
It's got enough bitters in there, in my opinion, just because like anything oversweet, I'm like, ooh, gross. It just has enough bitters in there to balance out that sweet brandy taste, and it's got plenty of brandy in there.
And
So-
this is made with the Barron's brandy.
It
This
is.
is brand new.
This is brand new. Came out on Monday.
Yeah, I was going to say yesterday, but Monday.
Dropped
yeah.
on Monday. I was pouring it on Friday for a couple select accounts on the west side. It's a collaboration we do with Charlie. He is one of our favorite people at the distillery. It is his product. He is the spokesperson for it. We are merely the arm to production as well as a little bit of operational. But this is Charlie's baby. This is him laying it out there and doing a lot of the work for it. It's a blend of barrels that are 4- and 5-year-old brandy, so it kind of lives in that VSOP world. It's a blend of those, proof down to 90. So it jumps in a cocktail. You don't have to over pour, and it should sit retail somewhere around $20 or under.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Oh, my God, does that smell wonderful.
So, and the greatest thing, you getting ready to pull on that?
I thought she was going to take a sip
That way
straight out
you
of the
can,
bottle.
you can try it side by side. You can try it next to the
So the one thing that we were speaking off air when you first pulled this out is the label and the design and everything. It has that old 60s, right? 60s,
Old school.
70s.
It's named
look
after his
to it.
grandfather. So I think that there was a cohesive decision to put it into that era.
It's really cool. It's got just like this yellow label with the red that pops out, and it's got that old school lettering and everything.
Old
It's
school
just
lettering.
really cool.
Somebody told me once, now I can't unsee it, that it looks a lot like a Cuban cigar box label.
Yes.
Now I cannot unsee it.
Yes,
because
it
that
does.
is possibly one of the things that would be complimentary.
I mean, even the
product.
bottle shape has that old,
Old school Jackish type bottle.
I feel
it's so
like
cool
we just
looking.
walked into a small tavern in a small
Yes.
town.
Yeah.
100%.
Which is always fun.
And Charlie had major skin in the game. This was him. This was Charlie working with Nick on the blend and the final product. So this wasn't just something that he put his name on. He's got his energy, his lips, and his passion behind it from day one.
Wow.
I love
Very cool.
I love Charlie's lips. This is good.
Very soft.
It's very, very good.
He's a great kisser.
Wow.
So this slushy from Aftershock,
Yeah.
there's definite cherry tones in there for sure.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, is this dreamy?
It's delicious. I have one once in a while, you know.
For breakfast? That's
This is too good, dude.
I mean, it's
It's
for
really
breakfast
good.
this morning. People are enjoying it here.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see this. You put this downtown on a hot day. You have those
I
out
don't
there. You
need
sell
no
those in the
hot
court.
day. I'll do this when it's -30.
I
don't
know
care.
you, because you're an alcoholic like the rest of us.
I think this is perfect for an arcade. I honestly think it's perfect
Oh,
to have
yeah,
a slushy
yeah,
like
yeah,
this
yeah.
for an arcade. It's retro. It's fun.
Do you
like
ever put them in like glasses that are like, like Yodas and all that kind of stuff?
so many ideas.
Darth Vader's and all
So
sorts
many
of cool, like,
ideas.
Cuberts or
You know,
something.
everything tastes better in a cute cup.
Yeah.
It's true. And like usually you get those boozy slushies, like you'll go whatever to the water parks or to Vegas, and I'm always like, there's not enough booze in them.
Never.
This one, there's enough booze.
Or
It's
if you're on a
perfect.
cruise and not at work today.
If I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
drink, if I'm gonna drink that amount of sugar, there better be some booze to support the decision.
I need to pay off here.
Well, this was something that Chris, your husband, the Mr. Trixie in the relationship, and Nick, our distiller owner, and myself sat down and talked about the Aftershock as a perfect location for a slushy machine.
Yeah.
So that was a conversation that we had together
Chris.
right at open.
What a great kisser.
So
Which one? If you guys are having fun, that's great.
Hey, you don't be tickling or nothing. I love it.
That's good for you.
Your husband is a great kisser.
Soft
He
hands.
loves your attention.
We thought uploading to the cloud was something completely different. The JJO Morning Show Podcast. Johnny and D, JJO.
Get off of my soundboard, man.
That wasn't me.
Yes, it was.
That was you.
Oh my God, I hate you so hard. Medicine Solid Rock
There's
94.1
so
JJ.
much love.
I know. Well, you're feeding us brandy at 7 in the morning. What do you think's gonna happen?
He's like poking at you now. I've amped him up for you.
Oh God.
Good old
fine.
poking D.
Ew!
What is
I don't
wrong
know.
with you?
I drink too much. I eat too much. I piss people off.
And he's like singing a song about it. He's so happy.
All right. Stacy's all in flurry in the back office. Let's see what's going on with traffic.
Good morning. Getting into peak traffic time now, and the westbound Beltline is getting congested on the bridge and between Park Street and Verona Road. Brake lights on John Nolan at North Shore Drive and Broome Street, and County M between 113 and K and Westport. And traffic light congestion starting up downtown on East Wash, Capitol Square, and Campus. Other main routes are at the posted speeds, no crashes or delays. With your JJO traffic, I'm Stacy K.
Nom, nom, nom. All right. So Trixie's in here with Fred Swanson from Dancing Goat. Welcome, welcome.
thank you.
We've already gone through our beers for the JJO beer collection. It'll be available as soon as Trixie's open at 9.
9 o'clock.
I'm getting very warm.
Are you toasty?
I do that to people.
No, it's not you. Trust me.
You sure about that?
I'm positive. God. Why are you so irritating?
Because once you open the floodgates with him, it's hard to like contain it back.
I know. Yeah.
That was loaded.
Jeez. I can't
Stop.
say anything. It's just,
Okay. What are we drinking here, Fred?
Yeah. What's
So
going on?
I built you guys a muddled old fashioned that I let you top off the way you wanted to yourself. I believe you, D, went with Squirt
I
for a
did.
sour. We did over here on this side
Yeah.
of the table, just straight soda water. I'm fine with that. I believe that that drink doesn't necessarily all the time need a bump of sugar, but it's straight muddled. It is old school like old school is. It's sugar cube. It is Angostura bitters, and I put a bar spoon of good maraschino, good dark cherry juice in there as well, just to balance it. And I think that adds a little bit of sweetness, so you don't have to oversweet it yourself. But that Barron's brandy really jumps at 90 proof, so you don't have to overpour. So there's probably, in that rocks glass, probably a solid 1.5 ounces. We've all been at supper clubs where we've watched bartenders with 80 proof other brandies overpour.
Yeah.
So at 90 proof, you don't have to overpour because it jumps. And to be able to jump, that drink is all sugars. So to push through all that sugar, you really need a higher proof product to not have to overpour.
Fantastic.
It's one of the better old fashions I've had.
Good. It's an old fashioned at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, jeez.
Without a bar.
The color of it alone, because of that dark cherry juice, tells me that it's a good cocktail.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Very good.
Well, we drink with our eyes first. So
yeah, presentation is important for sure. So the Barons is going to be available obviously at Trixie's. Is it going to be available like at supper clubs? Are they serving?
It'll be at supper clubs. Right now, it has become really popular very quickly. Charlie posted yesterday on his social media accounts, and then we got tagged, and then we reposted all of those. So the numbers are going to start to go up. It is at all the big liquor stores currently right now, or should be. The big secret in the industry is if it's not at your little liquor store, you can always take a picture of the bottle or tell them what it is, and they can bring it in if it's already in the market. So it can be available anywhere. It'll be at Trixie's. It'll be around $20. It should not go much above that or a whole lot below that. So.
Okay, awesome. Are we trying any more cocktails with the Barons brandy?
Not with the Barons brandy. We're going to the next cocktail after I get a chance. What's the Limousine Rye Maple Smash?
Awesome. Yeah, and we were I can't remember why Limousine Rye came up from Dancing Goat, but still, I will maintain that is the best nightcap on the planet.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, just completely neat.
Thank you.
That's all you got to do. Just sip it, and you will sleep like a baby. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite boozes out there. Boozes.
Roads.
Damn it. I was like, I better eat something because Fred's coming in with booze. And it doesn't matter. My cheeks are hot. My legs are buzzing. I don't know what's happening.
Nate's flaming hot Cheetos.
No, it's not happening.
Dumbing down your smartphone. One podcast at a time. Listen, rate, and subscribe to the JJO Morning Show podcast. Get up with Johnny and D. JJO.
And we did the beer sampling, and now we're moving on to booze with Fred Swanson from Dancing Goat. And Trixie, I assume all this stuff is going to be available at Trixie's Liquor.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I didn't turn you on. Well, I didn't turn your mic on.
How do you know?
Whoa.
There's your
Fred's
one for the
leaving
day.
a puddle. What's happening over
It's
here?
the smell.
Okay, damn it. What are we drinking next here?
So
Fred?
that is our signature house cocktail. That is the Limousine Rye Maple Smash.
Okay.
There's 3 ingredients. I think some of the best cocktails are low ingredients cocktails where you don't overthink them necessarily, and they can be an everydayer. That is Limousine Rye, 6 years, 9 months at 93 proof. Fresh lemon juice, and then our barrel-aged maple syrup. We have trees up in Shawano that we tap and then put them in whiskey barrels. That is it in the entire cocktail.
Yeah, that's I already know. That's my kid's favorite syrup.
It's so good.
I know.
That
That's
is
so
so-
funny. Yes.
You're like,
He was like, he used to only eat pancakes with butter
my
and sugar
goodness.
on it, and now he's like, if that's not in the fridge, he's not having pancakes.
It's so good. It is so
that
good.
is unbelievably good smelling.
It's
syrup.
funny because it's really hard to cocktail with maple syrup by itself. It's really hard to cocktail with honey because all it does is just glob to the bottom and just drops out
Well,
of solution.
this is like a lot more liquid. It's not
the
as
viscosity.
globby. Yeah,
For years, and maybe still today, Nick, our owner distiller, would tell you that the best thing he ever put in a bottle was the maple syrup.
Oh, dude, that's funny.
So it's funny, but because he got
I
the
wanna drink the
viscosity
maple
right for
syrup.
cocktails. I mean, I poured those cocktails probably 5 minutes ago, and that is not at all out of solution.
Yeah.
That syrup is not dropped out. So
That's fantastic.
It's a smash. So it's a sugar, it's an acid, it's a balanced cocktail. It is. People hear maple syrup and they think, oh, that's a winter cocktail, it's a fall cocktail. Well, the fresh lemon juice brightens it up enough that it's a year-round cocktail.
And the mint, too, man, in there.
The
Yeah.
mint, you could argue that mint makes every cocktail better, not because you're trying to make cocktails minty, but it focuses your brain and your olfactories to be able to find the cocktail. So just like salt and pepper in virtually any dish in cooking savory, you could argue the same thing.
It's like
for
a
making
guiding
cocktail.
light. Right?
It is.
And when I
It's,
sat down, that's
fantastic.
the first thing I smelled.
Was the mint.
Yep.
But
I was
then
like,
you don't.
Well,
Yeah,
you smelled
right.
it
Then you
because
don't.
he sat and slapped each mint.
Yeah.
So honestly, like you release just enough oil without releasing all of it. And the whole point of that is if you tore that mint, more mint would have been released into the cocktail.
It was
But
a
the fact that
perfect
you
amount
slap it, it's just enough to highlight it without it being minty.
Yes.
And you
Slap
break
your
the
mint.
cell walls, and that comes out in solution very quickly, and then it dissipates, but it keeps you focused on the drink.
Slap it around a little bit.
Yeah. Just around the edges.
It works.
Okay, and this you said this is the signature cocktail at Dancing Goat.
That's our house cocktail. That's probably the cocktail we came out with. It is the cocktail we came out with, and probably the one people know us for most.
Yeah, and if folks have never been to Dancing Goat, tell everybody where it's at and how it all operates.
We are 20 minutes from downtown Madison, straight as the crow flies on Highway 12. You don't even actually go into Cambridge. We're on the west side of Cambridge, the Madison side of Cambridge. We're open Thursday through Sunday. Friday through Sunday, we have a batched cocktail for purchase, but it's complimentary samples. You can sign up for classes. We built the first gin academy anywhere in the country where you can sign up for a gin making class. An hour and a half later, you leave with the $7.50 of gin you just made.
That's so cool.
So we're trying to turn that space into an educational space and less of a drinking space. We probably in Cambridge have 7 or 8 different places where you can buy our product with cocktails. Come and learn about it with us and then go spend money downtown.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's on the way home.
It's on the way home. It's not where you're going today, but it's the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But it's on the way home.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Well, and I love that educational space in there too, because sometimes I think, like people look at this and they're like, "Oh, that's a fancy cocktail." It's a cocktail you can definitely make at home.
You can make that at home all day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally. So, and how I didn't even know you could make your own gin. Like, who's trusting me to do that? That's crazy.
It's one of those things that we in the gin that we put in bottles ourselves, the Death Store gin, we are painstakingly proofing that down over months.
Yeah.
But the way the class works is that we're just highlighting what you can do and how you can make it. So you come in, there's a 100 level class, there's a 200 level class, there's a graduate studies at the 200 level class where you get a whole little bit more chance to play with botanicals. But it's one of those ways to demystify what we're doing in that building.
Yeah.
I mean, if you leave that building, I always tell people, if you leave the building and the one thing you understand is we're separating water from alcohol, you're halfway home.
Okay, all right.
So and then we've got tours you can sign up for. We've got cocktail classes to sign up for, garnishing classes, whiskey 101, how to
date
nose
nights.
whiskey, super date. That gin academy for date nights or girlfriends or guys or a bachelorette party, bunch of family members, that is a great time. Patrick does a wonderful job.
Awesome.
Fun.
And so how far ahead of time do you have to sign up for that gin class?
Right now we had classes last night that were scheduled, and Patrick is probably scheduling out 2 to 3 months for classes, and we try to do them 2 to 4 to 6 times a month, basically.
Okay.
And we're trying to do them when people are available, so weekend days, after work weeknights.
Okay, awesome. And how can people sign up for those?
Just go to our website, and that'll flip you over to the talk, and you can sign up there.
Okay. And that's through the Dancing Goat website or the Death Store
Dancing
website?
Goat website. Yep.
Okay, awesome. We will be back with more cocktails from the Dancing Goat fam up next. Oh, Trixie, did you want to do a last plug for the Pick 6 beers and all that stuff where they can find it before you get out of here?
Sure. Corner of East Wash and Oak Street. Look for the bright orange arrow. It points at the bright orange building, and it says Trixie's on it. And when you walk through after 9 a.m. today, we have employees waiting to show you where the JJO Mix and Match is. They can also point you to the door with all the THC drinks. Come in and visit. We'll have all of the liquor products mentioned today, Dancing Goat Distillery especially, and the new Barron's Brandy. Come in and get those. We've got them ready for you. Have a fantastic day, everybody.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, and then don't forget the slushies at
yeah.
Yes. Go play some pinball and make yourself happy with a brandy slushie.
They don't get to use all your metal straws, do they?
No. That's just for us. We're VIP for that.
You're lucky.
I love it.
You can learn a lot listening to podcasts.
Did you know that the hottest chili pepper in the world is so hot it could kill you?
Or you can listen to this one.
Bears can smell your menstruation.
I can smell your menstruation.
The JJO Morning Show Podcast. Johnny and Dee, nowhere but JJO.
Fred Swanson is here from Dancing Goat. And it's story time, kids.
So Dancing Goat Distillery, we are a legacy family distillery from the Moss family. We have an entire production facility, building, and ethos based around going back to Grandpa Dwayne when he was in the industry. So Grandpa Dwayne was alive when we put shovels in the ground, turned dirt, and he had been a distillery creator, builder of distilleries around the world, and one of the top consultants when folks had difficulties with their distillery. For example, he had worked with the Benedictine monks to fix the chartreuse still when they had some issues. And then his son, Tom, became pretty prominent in the industry and was very high up at both Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. And we are only here in brown spirits in whiskey in the U.S. because of the energy that Jim Beam put back out, which re-energized bourbon in particular when they put out the small batch collection, which was Booker's, Baker's, Basil Hayden's, and Knob Creek. So Tom had great influence in that. And then Tom's son, Nick, and Tom and Nick are now our owners and distillers. Nick is our master blender. He is our master distiller. And we are out in Cambridge, about 20 minutes from downtown, just straight east on Highway 12, making gin, whiskey, liqueurs, brandies, etc. We have turned that facility into an educational space for people to learn about what we do, and less about hanging out and drinking than it is about hanging out and learning.
Yeah, for sure.
Where'd the name Dancing Goat come from?
Well, do you want the truth, or do you want a story that I tell that is reasonably untrue to non-Wisconsinites?
Both.
So I tell non-Wisconsinites if I'm out traveling or somebody's in front of me that's not from Wisconsin, I say, we've got weird rules in Wisconsin. We've got state laws that are unimaginable in 49 other states. And I say, it's kind of like in Wisconsin, we have a mandatory food thing. On Friday, we all eat fish. On Saturday, we all eat prime rib. On Sunday, we eat broasted chicken. Mm-hmm. And I said it's very similar in craft beverage alcohol production in Wisconsin. We are adjective and cute animal. So you've got fat squirrel, spotted cow, dancing goat.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that take that BS story and run with it, and they're like, you guys are super serious. And I'm like, yeah, we take our craft beverage alcohol really serious.
Fantastic.
So they're running around the
retelling it.
Yep, and they're retelling it. But no, the real story is the fact that Travis, who's one of our original owners, and Tom and Nick Moss were looking at land underneath in New Glarus, underneath the just below on Highway 69, the New Glarus Brewery.
Oh, okay.
And it was land that was for sale, but it was in a floodplain, and it was not great land, and it would probably not have been conducive to building what we were trying to build. It was certainly buildable, but, it didn't all stack up. And there was a goat on the top of, I call it carpet golf. Here in Wisconsin, people I think call it mini golf.
Yeah.
So there's a mini golf place on Highway 69 just west of downtown, and there was a goat just losing his mind when those three guys were standing out looking at this land. And nobody really thought much about it until the next day when people were like, God, that goat was kind of obnoxious. And then it's like, yeah, but goats are irreverent, and goats are industrious, and goats are a little hardworking. So what we're trying to kind of lean in hard to is we're less of a distillery than what Nick would call a celebration company. Mm-hmm. And we are a building that makes products for everybody to use in celebration of, and then you can fill in the blank. And it could be, right. I just got a new job. I paid off the mortgage and I burned that piece of paper. We moved. I sold the house. It's Tuesday. Whatever celebration it is, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide products for Tuesdays.
All right, awesome. And obviously the limousine rye, we talk about how fantastic that is all the time, but you brought in some other
Brought in a couple other things. I've got our bourbon, our first bourbon that we put out. One of the things I'm most proud of is that underneath the Dancing Goat Presents label, if you look really close, if we didn't make it, you can see the word sourced whiskey underneath a font that's about the same size as Dancing Goat Distillery.
Sure.
So we call out, I'm sick and tired, I think many of us are sick and tired of spinning bottles on shelves to figure out if they actually made it, because the words on the back don't always mean a whole lot. So we say sourced whiskey, and we'll point it out because we're trying to be ridiculously open, transparent, and communicate truth. So when we don't make it, we point out that we didn't make it, but we did things here in Wisconsin to make it what we thought was as good as possible. And when we do make it, we will celebrate that from the mountains. That this is something that we created from day one. So I brought our bourbon, which is called Quirky and Humble, and then I brought a 9-year cask strength corn whiskey finished in spiced cherry bitters barrels, called Mazed and Confused.
Yeah,
That's
Mazed
awesome.
and Confused.
So-
It's awesome.
All
So we
right.
can try either or both of those.
Let's try both of those.
Perfect.
Now, are you a big bourbon guy, Rand?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love bourbons. I love whiskey. I love, all of them.
Yeah, same. I'm a sipper. I traditionally don't like to mix my whiskeys and stuff.
So what we tried to do with this bourbon, and we lean in really hard. The words sound, it kind of sounds a little odd, but we're trying not to be a distillery that's just making bourbon, a distillery, American craft distillery that's just making another rye whiskey. One of the things that we're trying to do is we're not trying to be different for the sake of being different. Great things are coming out of Kentucky and Tennessee. How do we differentiate ourselves?
Yeah.
That's our thing. How can we rethink it, retool it, reprogram it? So this is a bourbon called Quirky and Humble, because probably there's a lot of third grade guys that operate this distillery in Cambridge who are wordsmiths. And it is made not with American white oak, which is Quercus alba. It's made with Colombian white oak from the Andean Mountains called Quercus humboldti.
Oh, got
So
it.
quirky and humble is how you get Quercus humboldti, from Quercus humboldti. And that is a really tannic wood. Almost all that wood goes to Bacardi and they're trying to balance sugarcane.
Okay.
So that tannins, it is a bright tannic influence on a bourbon that you don't typically see in a lot of spaces. And that baby is proofed at just under 106.
There's
I was
a
gonna
bit
say that's-
vanilla-y in there.
Totally. You're going to get
Hints,
vanilla all the time.
tones.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. It appeals to a lot of people, and it's how do you set yourself apart without saying you're just doing things to be different?
Yeah.
So when you get these, it says always cast in like port wine, or as it says, I would rye for you. I love that.
Right.
And the Quirky and Humble, there's straight. That one's straight. You can taste that there's no monkeying around. That's just.
It's funny because this is, and people are like, what are you talking about? How is that a straight bourbon whiskey if it's not an American white oak? Because the definition of a bourbon does not say the word American white oak. It's new white oak container. In fact, it doesn't even say barrel. It could be a white oak box, technically.
Oh, okay.
So what we're trying to do is absolutely not kind of thumb our nose at regulations and rules, but show how you can live within those regulations differently.
Yeah, absolutely. This is delicious. Again, this could be my new nightcap. I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to say goodbye to limousine rye, though.
Seriously. That was the rye whiskey that we tried to very intentionally lean in. People are like, yeah, but rye exploded. I'm like, yeah, rye went from 0.5% to 5%. There's still 90% of brown spirits in the U.S. that are called bourbon.
Right.
And how do you appeal to bourbon drinkers if your first product is a rye? You create a crossover product, which was our thought, and you do things differently, and you lean in really hard on balance such that you can draw in bourbon drinkers with limousine rye. And this is to draw in bourbon drinkers, but also it's just quirky enough to keep the rye drinkers on point as well.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm in booze school.
It's booze school today, baby.
I love it.
It's
I
pretty
love
cool.
it.
Replay today the JJO Morning Show podcast. Get up with Johnny and D. JJO.
We are here with Fred Swanson from Dancing Goat Distillery over there in Cambridge. We are sampling many of the things. We have a couple cocktails. We have the Barron's new brandy that's out with Charlie Barron's. Awesome collab for that. And that is available at all the liquor stores, including Trixie, and then also at various supper clubs and such.
I was hoping to sneak that one.
No, Fred was, he saw you eyeballing it. He was like, no, that's coming
I was
over
going to
me."
pocket that one.
And I love that we just tried the bourbon. What's the next thing that we're trying here, Fred?
So the last thing that we're going to try is what we call Mazed and Confused. It's in that Dancing Goat Presents line, sourced whiskey that we have put our own personal twist on and done things Wisconsin-y. And this is a 9-year cask strength corn whiskey finished in spiced cherry bitters barrels. Thus the name Mazed and Confused.
Fantastic.
Because it is both. It is one of those things that almost comes out as a cocktail in a bottle. It is maybe one of the things that could punch through a cigar that we put out.
Really?
I find very, very, very few whiskeys that can hold up to a cigar. This might be one because it is so out there. It's proofed very high, but it is, again, one of those oddities. I mean, corn whiskey is one lane to the highway. It's sweet. And we just put our own spin on it with finishing it in a spiced cherry bitters barrel, which probably came from a very large Kentucky distillery.
Got it.
These all seem like they'd go really good in any old-fashioned or mixed drinks because they kind of stand out from other, you know.
Totally.
What
I mean, that bourbon that we just had, the regular limo that we had in the Maple Smash was 93 proof. The bourbon came in just under 106. This one is going to be a little harder to cocktail with because it's at 116.4. So it is 9-year cast strength corn whiskey.
Why my cheeks
that'll
are
get
hot.
Thursday going very quickly. So no, it's just one of those fun little products. It does take water. It does take ice. I think it's hard to really balance a cocktail at that level of proof. I think it's really hard to cocktail with 80 proof, but I think it might be, in fact, even harder to cocktail at significantly overproof because it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. It's not all statistics. It's not all maths. So just try it for what it is. I think one of the things you can do with it is make super simple cocktails. I think you can add just a couple bitters to this, a couple drops of bitters to play around everywhere, but let's get into it.
Yeah, for sure. And so where do you have like one main source for barrels, or is it just kind of based on availability of them? How does your relationship with your barrel providers work?
I think that helps that you're 3 generations deep in family connections and relationships.
Sure.
And if we're all very, very, I think if we're very honest about how the world of work works, is relationships are paramount. Oh. And when the Moss family has been in relationships in Kentucky with the distillers for 3 generations, it is a very, very beneficial thing to us. So they source, Nick and Tom source from a variety of different places. We have a couple places that we probably don't, we never really say where they're from.
Yeah.
But big distillers down there and big plants down there that the family has great relationships with over generations.
That's so cool.
Has an unbelievably good taste.
Yeah.
Like, it stands out from.
Does this drink like 116?
No, it's very, very. I know that's why we have just a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean everything about it is just magical. It's a freaking
cherry.
The
cherry bitters cuts right through.
Cuts right through. I mean, again, you're. I mean, I tell people that I think the corn whiskey is not a white canvas, but it's a tan canvas, and you can paint gorgeous colors all over that tan canvas. One of them is spiced cherries.
Yeah.
We've done corn whiskey in chocolate bitters barrels, Angostura barrels or aromatic barrels. We've done orange bitters barrels. I mean, it is one of those things that really people are like, hold on, you guys are really finishing things nicely. And there are people that don't care for finished whiskeys. I get that. You know, certain bottles for us might not be what you're into.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is we are going to continue to innovate. We're going to continue to push the envelope, and we're going to continue to celebrate what is gorgeous about bottles of brown spirits.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic.
And these are LTOs. I mean, the bourbon that we had is an LTO. When it's gone, it's gone. This Mazed and Confused is an LTO. When it's gone, and we will move on to the next thing. But both are available right now in the markets. They're at both big and small liquor stores around. There are some places that have it on back bars. So just ask for it anywhere in Dane County.
Did you say chocolate cast?
We've done chocolate bitters barrels, finished whiskeys.
How does a barrel, you get a barrel with chocolate on it?
So what you've got is you're making chocolate bitters in 53-gallon barrels.
Okay.
And what we're looking for is a 1-to-1 kind of correlation where we're moving whiskey from a 53 into a 53.
Okay.
And that is very unique because there's not a lot of places that do bitters in that volume and that size. Mm-hmm. One of them is obviously Woodford Reserve because they put out their own line of bitters. Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Foods also puts out their own line of bitters. But what we're doing is we're buying barrels that used to hold chocolate bitters. They're dumping the chocolate bitters, putting them into jars to sell little bottles to sell with droppers. And then we're buying those barrels and then refilling them with either limousine rye in many cases or corn whiskeys.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Magical.
It's
I know.
magic.
It's so interesting.
It is. It really is.
It's Science Thursday.
It's fantastic. And I love that you offer educational stuff just like this at Dancing Goat as well. So get signed up for those classes. It's just dancinggoat.com. You can figure it out from there. Now, you keep talking about brown liquors. What made you all decide to start doing gin?
The gin thing came to us probably 5-ish years ago. What Wisconsin is known for, what the world knows Wisconsin for in spirits is one product, and that's Death Store Gin. That may change over time, but bottom line is 15 years ago, those guys out in Middleton, right behind the Costco, put out a great gin. And you could argue that the time that it came out was about the time aviation came out. So those two products, not anything we had anything to do with its origin story, changed Americans' minds about what gin could taste like. So what you ended up with was 10 years down the road, those guys got really big, really fast, and were staring bankruptcy right in the eyes. And it was a time when we could bid during a bankruptcy proceeding on a gorgeous, gorgeous product and keep it viable in the state of Wisconsin. That meant a lot to us.
Yeah.
There's not a month that goes by that somebody doesn't text me from Amsterdam or somewhere in Italy or somewhere in the UK, London, and it's the back bar, and there's our gin on the back bar because it's in a handful of countries. And it's in probably 30-plus states, 30-ish states in here in the U.S. So it's what we're known for. It is the classic example of things we've already talked about today. It's don't overthink it. Don't put too many botanicals in it. Keep it simple. Keep it as close to the best as possible and make those the best ingredients that you use. It's only juniper, coriander, and fennel.
Yeah.
And it is a gin that has wonderful applications. Obviously, gin and tonics, which is probably where the majority of it's drunk, but it also martinis very, very well. We didn't want it to go away. We didn't want the one thing that Wisconsin was known for to go belly up.
Yeah.
We also didn't have a gin, so it was surreptitious that, and we took it back to year one, carved out everything. Nick spent months with a couple other guys carving out all the hard pipes and all the hard goods, and then we just transferred that still over to Cambridge, and that same still that has always made Death Store Gin is still making it now in Cambridge.
Wonderful.
Back to year one, where it's bright, effervescent, citrusy, because coriander flashes off as orange citrus, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that. And again, I mean, because we hammer here, we're a local radio station owned by a person that lives right here in Madison, and just supporting those local businesses and keeping it as Wisco as possible is so important. And obviously Dancing Goat is a huge part of that. So.
Perfect. And we're honored because, we celebrate our beer in this state all the time. We talk about our beer to people that don't live in this state constantly. We're getting there every year, a little bit more. We're getting there in spirits. And it's that notion that we're only better when we're all better. Yeah. Okay, we're not better when one guy's better, two guys are better. We're only better when we're all better. And in Wisconsin, in Madison in particular, there are some great distilleries.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for coming in and teaching us some booze knowledge, dropping the knowledge.
Yeah. One
Appreciate you.
last thing. Did you see the beautiful, beautiful Dixon he's got on?
Oh, it's a gorgeous.
Dude.
I wear a lot of Dixon.
Do
That's
you really?
Sublime. You see that? It's a
My
sublime
wife
one.
says I wear too much Dixon.
No,
this is
so
fun. Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, they make great flannels.
Man, yeah, you are definitely part of the fam now, dude.
The JJO Morning Show Podcast with Johnny and D. Listen, rate, subscribe. Catch a new show every Monday through Friday, 6 till 10 a.m. on 94.1 JJO or streaming anywhere in the JJO app. Johnny and D, nowhere but JJO.